Hey guys! Welcome to a slightly different view of my apartment. I've been wandering around trying to figure out where to film. Turns out I'm too pale for the lighting in about 90% of my apartment. This is about as good as it's gonna get. I am glowing from the outside. Don't forget to join the circus and subscribe down below in order to keep track of more interesting workouts and whatever else ends up coming up in either the internet or my day-to-day life as a personal trainer. So last time we did a glute and hip hinge isolated workout, and today I'm just going to talk about my basic squat and multi-joint lower body routine. The reason that I separate these two things out is because I'm in it for mad booty gains, which I believe is actually the technical term. And by separating the 2 days, I feel like I personally can get more focus in on that goal. So by having my multi-joint day that is longer and goes from the hips down, so glutes, thighs, and calves, and having that day as a separate focus of keeping things heavy, keeping things moving, making it longer, then I feel more prepared to go into a day that's just glute focused. And growing my quads, growing my glutes, growing my hamstrings is something that's super high priority for me. So taking the time to isolate that has made me see a lot more progress. So taking one day to squat and do those multi-joint exercises and fully recover from that, and then a couple days later doing the glute and hip hinge completely separate has made such a huge difference for me when it comes to progress. And if you are looking to grow your glutes, if you're looking to get that really nice big peachy Instagram butt, then I would totally recommend trying a separate day of just glute and hip hinge exercises. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking as much about stuff like basic squat form or the really small building blocks that come up to building up having workouts in this style. So if that is something that you're interested in, feel free to leave me a comment, let me know, and then we can do something that's really breaking it down into the nitty-gritty of form. But for now, this is kind of assuming that you already have a pretty decent squat, like, you know, things that you have to think about once in a while, like, are my knees knocking together? Do I need to stop that? What are my shoulders doing? That sort of thing is fine, but this is assuming that you already have a fairly good basis in how to squat, how to do lunges, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna put sets and reps next to each exercise while we're here, but this is my basic building block for my squat and multi-joint day. So I will do these exercises every time and then add onto that. My squat and multi-joint day ends up being approximately 2 hours. I don't do a lot of cardio on this day. I'll usually do something to warm up, like squat jumps, which I'll show you, but I don't do like 45 minutes on the treadmill or anything like that. So if it is a treadmill warm-up, it'll be just really short, quick sprints. But in order to maximize muscle gain at this point, I do not put cardio into my squat day. So let's take a look, let's get on with the video and see what's going on with a squat and multi-joint day. So to start, like I said, I like to start with some squat jumps. So going plain and simple for about 30 seconds and then switching to squat jump 180 turns for another 30 and doing that twice through. Try to get 180, sometimes it doesn't happen. To start, I always like to begin with barbell squats while I'm fresh. So here I'm going for maintenance, not very heavy, so I did 6 sets of 5 at a fairly light and manageable weight. I want to say that I was only at around 95 or so here, so stick there for maintenance. And here's a modification: if you don't have access to a barbell or feels unsafe, feel free to do a goblet squat with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And here is a back-loaded split squat. It's like a stationary lunge. And the reason I choose split squats over moving lunges is I like the isometric hold that comes with a split squat, meaning your muscles never quite come to a point of pure relaxation. There's a consistent contraction that comes with needing to keep your balance in one spot here. And I feel like it just gives a lot more benefit to the exercise. And I like doing it backloaded because I personally feel like it gives me the emphasis on the posterior chain that I want from this exercise as well. Kettlebell swing break, so just taking a minute and doing 3 sets of 10 kettlebell swings just to get the blood pumping pretty fast. Once again, get your heart rate up, get everything moving. And here we have a squat with a landmine, overhead press, and switch. I like what this does for the emphasis by changing where the weight rests while also adding in the compound movement of the overhead press to your squat and working on shoulders, arms, and upper back a little bit while we're here. So this is just a view from behind. So otherwise it looks like a fairly normal squat. It's slightly more upright than usual, so in that way it's closer to a Fletcher or a front-loaded squat, but it's definitely a great thing to start adding into your squat routine. And if you don't have access to a landmine, all you need is a couple of weights to do just a normal overhead press at the top of your squat. I wish I'd done a better job of framing this one, but here I am doing lateral lunges on a slider. You can use a slider, you can have your foot on a towel, you can be in socks. The point is that your foot is gliding along the floor versus just stepping out to a lateral lunge. So this makes it more unstable. It makes it so you have to control where your foot is going as it slides out. It also adds more emphasis into the adductors and the inner thigh area by making it so you also have to drag your leg in versus just stepping up with the planted foot. And this is my favorite part, bridges or hip thrusters, whatever you want to call them. No matter what, you can do them lying on the floor, you can do them on a bench, there's so many variations. I like being on a Bosu and having a barbell across my hips. Here I went pretty light for high reps, but really focusing on that booty right here, getting deep in there. And that's it. That's my normal squat day beginning, squat day, leg day, whatever you want to call it. So those are the building blocks that I use, and from there and doing all of those exercises, depending on how I feel that day, I will continue to add on other accessory exercises. So after all of that is said and done, that's when you can get into the smaller muscle work. So stuff like clamshells or like Jane Fonda lifts or calf raises, stuff that's going to involve smaller, pickier muscle groups that need to be super worn in order to get through the range of motion that you need or have some sort of sticky tendency through your body. So if you do have trouble with stuff like external rotation of your hips, then doing it after all of these other exercises is first of all going to be a really great way to continue working through that range of motion. But you're going to see a lot more progress because you're going to be able to move a lot better once the blood flow has increased that much through those joints. So try those things out after a big strong leg day, and then throw a couple of core exercises in. My next video is going to be a core workout based off of my circus background. It's going to be interesting, it's going to be fun, it's going to be torturous and kind of painful, but it's going to be an awesome workout. So feel free to check that out. Don't forget to subscribe, join the circus here at Cirque du So Fit, and you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Snapchat. You can leave a comment here. Feel free to ask any questions, make any requests. I'm always here, I'm always willing. And I also train both remotely and in person. If you're in the Boston area and you're interested in training, or if you're interested in learning more about programs, then please shoot me an email. My email is down below. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. and I'm really excited to keep this going. Did you like the microphone? You can hear me today. So have a great couple of workouts until I see you next. Thanks, guys.